There are places in this world that don't feel quiet. Not because of sound, but because of presence. Places that feel like they're holding something, remembering something. Mount Shasta is one of those places. Rising alone in Northern California, snow-covered, often wrapped in clouds that seem to move with intention. People have been drawn here for generations. Some come for the beauty. Some come searching for something they can't quite explain. And some believe this mountain has been speaking all along. Long before modern stories, before the language of energy and vortexes or portals, this mountain was already known as sacred. For the Karuk tribe, the Wintu, and other indigenous peoples of this region, Mount Shasta is not just land. It is alive. It is a being, a presence, a part of creation itself. Their stories speak of a time before this world looked the way it does now, when powerful spirit beings moved freely across the earth. And during what some describe as a great transformation, those spirit beings became the world around us. The animals, the trees, the rivers, the stones, and some became human. Not separate from nature, but part of it, part of the same living system. In this way of seeing the world, nothing is just an object. Everything is in relationship. And the mountain is something you don't just visit. It's something you approach with respect, with awareness, with intention, because it is listening just as much as you are. Over time, as more people arrived, new stories began to form around Mount Shasta. Stories of hidden worlds beneath the mountain. Stories of advanced beings living within it. Stories of ancient knowledge preserved somewhere just out of reach. In the early 20th century, spiritual movements began describing this place as something more than sacred. They began describing it as something otherworldly. Some believe it is connected to lost civilizations like Atlantis or Lemuria. Civilizations said to have existed long before recorded history, and possibly lost to time. Others speak of encounters with beings not from this world, of messages, of guidance, of something watching, waiting, or even guiding humanity forward. And while there is no scientific evidence to confirm these claims, the stories persist across generations, across cultures. And that alone raises an interesting question. Why do places like this continue to draw people in? Why do so many, from completely different backgrounds, describe a similar feeling when they stand here? A sense of calm, a sense of clarity, of something just beyond understanding. Maybe it's geological. Maybe it's psychological. Or maybe there are parts of this world and parts of ourselves that we don't fully understand yet. Not because they aren't real, but because we've forgotten how to perceive them. Because we've been taught to look, but not to feel. To measure, but not to listen. What if the power of places like Mount Shasta isn't in proving whether something is there, but in what it awakens within us? The awareness that the world around us might not be as empty or as separate as we've been led to believe. That the ground beneath our feet, the trees, the water, the mountains, aren't just part of the background of our lives. They are part of the experience, part of the relationship. And maybe reconnecting with that relationship is where something truly powerful begins. So maybe the question isn't, what is Mount Shasta hiding? But instead, what is it asking us to remember? There's a line that keeps coming up for me when I think about places like this. Not separate from nature, but part of it. And I think that's what so many of us have forgotten. We've been taught to see nature as something outside of us, something we visit, not something we're in relationship with. But that's really at the core of the work I've been doing. Through the spaces we create, the rituals we return to, the small, intentional moments in our everyday lives. It's about remembering that connection. Because what some people call witchy or magical isn't about aesthetics. It's about awareness, presence, choosing to live in a way where you recognize that the world around you is alive. And when that shifts, everything else begins to shift too. Your relationship with your home, with the land, with other people, even with yourself. Because if we're not separate from nature, then we're not separate from each other either. And maybe places like Mount Shasta aren't here to be figured out. Maybe they're here to remind us of something we've always been a part of.